Hello, today's topic is exceptions.
If you like my video, please subscribe my channel, click on bell button, share and comment your doubts and like this video.
Exception. What do you mean by exception? Exception is nothing but when you are going to be writing any program, if that program is not executed, that means it won't give the output. So there we can say that is an exception. But here, this exception means the program is not executing. That means some type of error are there. What is that? Error can be rectified, but exception cannot be rectified. Exception are going to be handled. That means, for example, if you are going to be writing printer, so whatever you want to write, it is going to be printing. But instead of writing we have missed. So this is an error that I can, when you are executing the program, we can rectify this I. But whereas exception, for example, here one array you have declared, and in this array you have declared 1, 3, 4, 5. This is 0, 1, 2, 3. 3 positions are there. But when you are going to be printing, if you are going to be giving 6th array, so this is array not found exception. So we are unaware of this index. So that time it is not possible to correct here. This type of situations we need to handle using the exception in Python. Here, to handle this type of exceptions, for example, here we have one variable that is called a, some value, a value is something. Otherwise, we will take value only directly, dividing by 0. So dividing with the 0, we will have the value. If you are going to be dividing, you will get the 2.5, you will get 2.5 answer you will get. That is the quotient. But if it is going to be dividing with the 0, what the answer will get? 0 you will get. But our compiler doesn't know whether this is it is going to be divisible or not. So this time the exception will come. So dividing with the 0, like that. So these type of exceptions we are going to be handling in Python using try except final block, final keywords. With this keywords we are going to be handling in Python. So these exceptions we are going to be handling with the try and except statements we are going to be handling statements. And here we'll have one more keyword, that is finally. Finally is also a keyword where we are, whenever these type of exceptions comes, so after that exception, whatever the code is there, that is not going to be executed. But we want a particular code compulsory to execute if any exception occurs also. So that time we can use the final block. In this block, whatever instructions you are going to be writing, in any way, those instructions are going to be displaying. So let me try first try catch statements. So here try and except statements are used to catch and handle exception in Python. These statements that are statements that can arise exceptions are kept inside the try clause, and the statements that handle the exception are written inside except clause. That means the try keyword, wherever you will think that some type of exceptions it occurs, there you want to start with the keyword try, and in that block whatever code you want you will write. Then write down the exception block, what type of exception it is going to be occurred. If you know, you can mention, otherwise just you can mention the exception. So the syntax for this is, write down here try colon, and here the statements, that is statement 1, statement 2, how many statements you want, sorry, you can write it. Then here in the statements, if any exception occurs, this try is going to be catches all this, checks all this. Then after this, in the exception block, it is going to be throws. So here you can write that exception. If you know, you can write, or otherwise just write down an error. So an error occurs. So if any exception occurred in this block, this is going to be throws, and here it is going to be checking. So we will see the example for this. So here there's a Jupyter notebook, and now let me write one small program here. So here I have taken one array, that is 4, 5, 6 I have taken, or 7 also, 4 elements. Now I'm going to write a try, and here I want to print the first element, of the array. So I can use here, this is array of not 1, 0. The same thing you can copy. One, 2, 3, 4. So here this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3, and this is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. But it starts from 0, means up to 3 only it will come. So this is the second element, and this is the third element, and this is the fourth element, and this is the fifth element. So here fifth element is not there. That means it occurs the error. So here I'm going to write exception, and here simply I'll write the print, and error occurred. So let me run this one. See here, an error occurred. Up to 7 the values has been printed. This value, that means this position, is not present in our array. So it has an exception. So exception has been occurred. Suppose if this exception you don't know. So if you know the exception, which type of exception, you can just add here, that is whichever exception is there, then it will it is going to be written that exception only. We will see another example for that. Let me write here one function. I am not writing function first, so I'll write here try, and here I'm calling one function. So shall I write here sum, and one value I need to pass, that is 4 I am passing. Again I am calling this, again I'll send 5, and here I'm going to write except, and here I'm going to write print, and here I'll write some error occurred. So let me check this, which type of error is there. This one. Now see, error occurred. That means this function is not there. So if this function is not there, that is error only. How it executes. So here, what type of error this is, we don't know actually. So we will write some named error. Name error. So here I'm going to write named error. So here int object is not iteratable. Okay, so here let me write that function also. I'm going to declare here function, and here I'm writing sum, and here I'll pass some variable a, and if a is greater than 4, that means here I have forwarded the 4. Okay, so if it is greater than 4, then it should do some values. So here I'm taking c is equal to a divided by, I'll write here a minus 5 I will write. Okay, so here it is less than, sorry, if a is less than 4, it should do. So here I will pass, instead of 4, 3 I will pass. So it should do this. If it is doing here, I'll write here 3. So here 3 I have passed. It is less than 4 only. So it will enter into this. Here 3. 3 minus 3 is 0. Now it is going to be dividing with a 0. So here it is going to be throwing the error. So let me print here this value. Print C value. So C I have printed here. So here, let me check whether this error is going to be throwing or not. what happened here? See, dividing by 0 error has been thrown. Okay, so here instead of writing here error name, I am going to use another exception also. I don't know which exception it comes. So this is a 0. So dividing with division, 0 division error. So here I am going to write print 0 division error occurred. Okay, now let me check here. Now see here, I know which type of error. So that I have mentioned, it is not executing this exception, it is executing this exception. 0 division error exception it is shown. If you know the name of the exception, you can write. And here we can say this is a multiple exceptions. So I will write here multiple exceptions. Multiple exceptions you can throw. Now here exception we have taken. So here this exception, in the exception part we can use the, you can use the else part also. So that how we can do. Let me write another example. So here I'm going to define one. So here I'll write div, that's it, and here a comma b I'm writing a comma b, and here I'm going to write try c is equal to, let me write, or otherwise I'll write result is equal to, let me write here a plus b by a minus b. Okay, so whatever you want you can send the values, and here I'm going to write except. So here we will write with a 0 0 0 division error, and write down here some print statement, that is a by b result is 0 something we will write. Okay, else we can print c. That means if it is dividing with a 0, it should execute this one. Else if something else, it should display this one. So I need to call this function. So this is a div is. So here I'm going to take some 2.0 3.0 values I'm taking, and I'm going to run it. So here what type of error it is displayed? Here it has displayed C is not defined. Okay, sorry. Here actually I have taken result, so I need to write here result. Previously I took C, so I have written that only. So let me check here. Now see here, it has displayed -5. So here the same thing I'm going to call again. So here some 3.0.3.0. So 3 minus, it is 0 division. So let me check here. Now see, if it is 0, it executing the exception part. If it is not 0, else part it is going to be executed. So this is exception else part. And now In this, already I told you that exception we are going to be handling with a try exception, and we'll have a other keyword, that is finally keyword in Python, that is going to be using if exception is there. So here when I am sending this, after this I'll write another statement. That means after exception you'll have some more statements, some more program code it may be. So here extension of the program I will write. That means it is going to be having some executable statements we can write. This is the next line. Okay, now here I am going to passing that the exception. So if when the exception, this is 0 0 means it is going to be taking this part, so exception part only. So let me write here. So here when first program, this I will comment it. Okay, I'll comment this for second one only. Now I'll execute this one. So here it has executed because this statement has been executed. So after executing this, it has been executed this and this statement. Again, this is not dividing with 0. So then finally it has written the result. What result I have stored here. But now I am going to comment this one and this I'll uncomment. Now here this part is not executing. So what it will be the result? So when this part is not executing, after that program, whatever statements are there, those statements are not going to be execute. So when this type of situation occurs, if you want a few instructions or a few statements you want to display compulsory, then that type of statements you can add in final block. That means after this exception you write down here and here write down print always executed. Okay, now here the same I am sending. So these statements are not executing, but this statement is going to be execute. See, after try catch block, the remaining statements are not going to be execute, but if you are going to be writing those statements only in the final block, so those statements are going to be executed at any cost. So what is the definition of this, or how you can represent this final block or final keyword? So here you can write here final is a keyword. It is a keyword in Python. So this is going to be written, the final block always executes after normal termination of try block as or after try block terminates due to some exception. Yes, so this is try catch final blocks in Python. Hope you understood this topic. So we'll continue the next topic in the next video. Thank you.